It's PC People here, and today we're going to talk about what if deku was Sanji, and that's all I gotta say. This is part 2. Let's go. So we get right into it, and we start a story right off where we left off. Deku has just gotten 5th place in Aizawa's training thing, and is now just heading home. Next day, the hero training, obviously the hero training starts, with Deku being kind of ecstatic to see All Might, but he's chill. Not like original Deku, who was going absolutely ecstatic to see him. Deku's just focused on Ochako. Just like he's stargazing her. No, seriously, he has stars in his eyes. And Deku afterwards gets chosen with Ochako and is just overjoyed that hearts start spawning around him. Like the original Sanji would do. Which weirds a couple of them out, but annoys Banetta kind of. But Deku doesn't care. And so Deku is just listening to Ochako's plan to defeat Bako and Ida. Well, he doesn't care. He just wants her to win. He doesn't care if he gets beaten, bolted, and I guess sent through multiple walls. But as soon as his name comes up, then he just completely straightens up and is back to his serious self. Because he wants her to win, so he's gonna have to put his A game on. So Deku follows the plan. Well, Ochako uses her float ability to float herself up to a window and climb through the top window, thinking Baku, with his massive ego, would choose the top area. And so Deku sprints down the hallways, running why Ochako's not going to win right now. Ida notices her and they start fighting. It looks pretty even, but that's what we're focusing on. Deku is running through the halls, basically almost up to the floor, so Baku comes blasting through the corner, asking Deku to fight him aggressively. So Deku just fires up a kick and waits for Bakugo to show. He's running with his leg on fire, waiting for Bakugo to strike. Then Bakugo goes to strike, and Deku just redirects his explosion with his kick, with his boot. Then shoves into a wall. Then he spins Bakugo like a blade with a different kick to the said arm. And Bakugo spinning in the air. And then Deku hits him with uh, a kick to the face with his boot, which just makes Bakugo go flying forward. But Deku basically blinks in front of Bakugo, and then does like a Johnny Cage spin kick, basically like X-ray level kick, spinning Bakugo more in the air, slamming him against the ceiling. Then Bakugo falls to the ground. Then Deku hits him with a wombo combo with his kicks. Then he spins around Bakugo like a blade, and then kicks his back, like it pops his back. You can hear like a massive pop. Then he kicks Bakugo into a different wall. Bakugo's not down and out, so he uses his AP shot. Deku knows he can't parry this, so he's just going to use his one of his strongest attacks. So he fires up his kick, starts spinning even faster than he was before. Then he starts floating in the air. Then we see the tip of the spin, where Deku's legs presumably are, aimed forward, and then Deku starts spinning towards Bakugo. Bakugo has already pulled the HP shot, and it, fired, but Deku proceeds to absorb the explosion and then add it to his spin, which starts disintegrating the building. Like, Ida and Ochako are, like, losing balance. And then, right as Deku is about to hit Bakugo, he stops, spins, and it smacks him over the head with a big kick, knocking Bakugo clean out. He didn't want to destroy that building. He's still a hero after all. So he sprinted upstairs to see what Ochako was doing. And Ochako, after the building was collapsing, got the upper advantage and punched Ida in the face, sending him tumbling into rubble. But he'll be fine. He had his helmet on. They take him out of the rumble and he's fine. His They just have to weld off his helmet because it got stuck to his head. But he'll be fine. After that, Ochako touched the bomb. And then the hero team wins. Sanji and Ochako start talking afterwards. With, obviously, Deku flirting with Ochako. And it's working. So Deku decides he's gonna do it. He asked Ochako on a date. Basically, to a restaurant. And, yeah, Ochako says yes. And Deku's just like, in his mind, like we zoom into his skull, and then we see Deku silhouette, exploding with a lot of hearts. That's crazy, bro. Well, anyways, Deku, gets ready for his date. This is on a Friday, if you're wondering. They start their school day started on a Thursday, and now it's Friday. Now it's Saturday, and Deku is getting ready for his date, and so is Ochako, of course. We get a cut to her as well, getting ready with her so-so dress, but it works. They get ready, and then they head out. Both of them. Deku running while Ochako takes a cap. Because Deku needs that exercise. Deku gets there, does a straight up backflip in front of Ochako's car. How does he know it's Ochako in the vehicle? He legit used his eagle Sharingan, I guess, to see it was Ochako. So he spinned in front of Ochako's seat part, opened the door for her, and she didn't even realize it was Deku, but was thankful. Then they enter the building. Well, the date goes well. They're definitely talking a lot and getting to know each other, which Ochaku gets to learn that Deku is a cook, and that sounds pretty cool for her because she can't cook for shit. But we're not there. But Ochako and him talk more and more. The date goes well. They get their food. Deku says it tastes horrendous, but he keeps eating anyways. Because he does not waste a drop of food, even if it's rotten. Which Ochako finds confusing. But she won't say anything. Now. For right now. Not for right now, but she won't say nothing. Oh my god, my nose is like incredibly clogged, bro. It's like terrible. Deku, after the date, they go their separate ways. Ochaku getting her own a cab, and Deku just sprinting off. Gets home, goes to bed, and smiles. Next week, which is Monday, they get on a bus to go to the USJ. Well, they're heading there, and everyone starts talking about their quirks, of course. And obviously, they start roasting Bakugo, with Deku just sitting there, not caring. He's sad that he didn't get to sit next to Ochako. So, he just shush, kitten, shush. I'm recording. So Deku just sits there, waits for them to get done talking. Well, they get to the USJ and they stop talking. They enter the building and Deku's just talking with Ochako. And then she becomes ecstatic when she sees her favorite hero, girl with the black hole quirk. I can't remember her name. So he just immediately quiets down. As if she's interested in something, he is like a freaking box that has no music in it. So Deku, after that, he sees that the portal is open and is gonna, and immediately knows villains. So as his legs start firing up, and he's gonna go fuck him up if you're wondering. But then I'm looking at Deku like, why is his legs firing up? They're just fake. Then Aizawa confirms that they're not fake. So as soon as Kurogiri shows up, Deku kicks the shit out of it, and Kurogiri almost gets killed. Look, I'm not kidding. Uh, Deku didn't know there was a teleporting hero made of metal, so he almost killed Kurogiri with just a single kick. But Kurogiri just backs up the whole fight. Luckily, still getting the Class 1A people out, except, I swear to God, kitten, if you don't shush, that kitten just never shuts up. It's hurting my feelings. So Deku, um, Deku. Then Deku just goes with Aizawa, and he starts spin kicking every single villain. They can't even hit him. Even the people that shoot their projectile quirks, obviously get stopped by Aizawa, and then they get cooked by Aizawa. Eventually, Shigaraki gets mad that Deku's taking out all his baggies, so he tells the Nomu to go kill the kid. But the Nomu misses because Deku dodged its punch. And then Deku backs up, now for trying to feel out his opponent. But he doesn't really feel anything with this creature. So he decides he's gonna kill it. How do you just decide you're gonna kill someone just on their energy? Deku. And so the battle begins with Aizawa trying to help, but getting shortly knocked the fuck out. With just one punch. Just a single punch this time. He the Nomu sprints in front of Aizawa, clocks him in the face. His hair goes whipping all over the place. Then he goes spinning and slams into a rock and goes to freak to sleep. With Deku and Nomu getting their fight on. Obviously, Kurogiri tries to help the Nomu, but it's just severely not working on Deku. He doesn't know. He just feels like he's fought an opponent that can't be touched unless he uses his brain to maneuver. If you're wondering what this means, it means the invisible guy that Sanji fought. You know, the guy with the invisible fruit, where he just is invisible. He fought that guy because he couldn't hit him, because he couldn't see him, but eventually he got the hang of it. That's who I'm referencing. And Deku starts cleaning up the Nomu, though. Like, he's kicking off limbs, like a single kick. But then he's realizing it's not working, so he has to use one of his advanced kicks. Yes, I'm talking about that advanced kick. So he just waits till the cavalry arrives with Bakugo, All Might, and Shoto Todoroki. Obviously, All Might's cleaning up the Nomu for a bit, but then he gets into that, stab hold. Then uh, Deku asks Bakugo for a bit of assistance or something, but Bakugo just agrees just because he wants to kill the Nomu, and it sounds like this plan will kill it. So Deku then gets into stance, and so does Bakugo by him running up the stairs. And then Deku starts clapping with the like clashing, like the Nomu's punches are clashing with Deku's kicks, with his fire kicks, of course. Like there's like energy fire kicks being swished, and then Deku finally gets an uppercut kick on the Nomu, and then pushes all of his power to kick the Nomu all the really high into the sky. Then Deku spins on his legs again, cocks them back like a massive squat, shoots himself upwards, breaking the ground beneath him, bringing up tiny rocks with fire attached to them. Then Deku gets high into the sky. Then he's basically covered in fire at this point, and then starts spinning. And then he gets into his second strongest attack. Yeah, I'm still not revealing his strongest attack. And then Deku spins, and then Baku gets up to Deku, and then hits him with a two Talonsers, two grenade explosions, which makes Deku just fueled even more. Then Deku's basically tearing down the USJ with how strong his spinning is. Like its infrastructure is falling. And Shigaraki and Korogiri just leave because they know that Nobu's fucked. If this is what the kid's doing, then Nobu's dead. So Deku stabs the Nobu with a penetrating air strike with his kicks. And he stops mid-spin, already incinerating the Nobu's skin, like burning it off. But then he enhances that kick by setting them on fire. Like he sets himself on fire, which sets the Nomu on fire and the inside. Then the Nomu starts to burn. Like you see like fire emanating from the Nobu's skin, and then Deku just tears the Nomu in half, and then both sides of the Nomu explode, and then turn to ash and cinder, and then the Nomu, dies. And Deku lands with very, very blooded feet. And so, All Might thanks Deku for the assistance. But he hopes Deku knows that that he has to take the credit for it. Deku understands and is fine with it. Then Deku falls over, a bit exhausted from all the fire he had to use, and he's pretty sweaty. So he takes a handkerchief out, puts it over his forehead, and just chills. That is until the hospital come up and they pick him up, and then he goes to the hospital. All he really needs is a cold ice bath and a fan pointing at him for a very long period of time, and then he's fine. Then he checks on Ochako to see if she's okay. She had a minor broken finger, but Deku sees it as her entire bones are broken. So he sits next to her, and for the entire week they're off. And he goes to her house sometimes to bring her chocolates. Well, that's where I'm going to leave things right now. See y'all. It's a broadcast, so it's going to take a bit for me to click off, but hey, that's